All right, we want to get started with our test. Let us just remember the rules that all students are to be in front of the cameras at all time. Judges, do you have your names for your score sheets?
Yes, thank you.
All right, this is a live recording.
Yes.
It's being streamed on YouTube as well as we are supposed to be on Facebook. And as you are aware, we are on the Zoom platform. Just give us a moment. Miss Elliott, can I have your ladies? Are your ladies ready? Mr. Coach Bennett, welcome. I don't know if I officially welcomed you. Coach Bennett? Coaches. Hi, there you are. All right. There's a light behind one of your speakers. I don't know if you want to pull the curtain.
To be honest, the curtain was taken down to facilitate.
Okay.
heat,
Okay.
So,
All right. So,
it's just a challenge, but then I'll work on it.
what are you going to do? Will you be standing and going to a podium, or you're going to be presenting from there?
We have set up a podium where I'll be moving the laptop to the podium vantage point.
All right. Can you go to the podium and say your names, please, so that we can see what it will look like? So you're going to have to be moving the camera. Okay, okay. All right. Okay, much better. So once you're not going to be presenting from that table because the light is affecting, and remember that gestures and movements is a part of the score. So we would want to be able to see you clearly. Thank you so very much and welcome back. Thank you.
Yes, thank you as well.
All right. So let's have the audio check one by one, please.
Present afternoon is extended. My name is Kaylee McQueen.
Judges, was that okay?
Yes.
Yes, so far.
Yes, okay.
All right. So just go ahead.
Greetings to all that are present. My name is Anthony Demetrius.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shaquan White.
Oh, and we have at the desk, so you don't get and be caught unawares. Our timekeeper here, she'll be staying right there.
Is that your reserve, Mr.
Yes, it's our reserve as well, but she'll be functioning as our de facto timekeeper because I know some of the challenges we've had in the past with the Zoom is students aren't quite easily aware of their time. So just trying to provide some assistance with that, if that's okay.
All right, so Kada Lee McLean, Anthony Demetrius. Correct? Demetrius.
Yes.
And Sean White, correct?
No, Shaquan.
All right. Shari Dawson is with us. She'll be keeping time in the chat, so coach, you can keep a time on that. Shari, please just put by their names if they go over the time. All right, Miss Elliott, can we have your team now? Mr. Bennett, Sir Bennett.
Yes.
Can you please take the team's picture and just send it to me in the WhatsApp? Is that possible, please?
Yes, that's fine.
Yes. You see, coaches, this is what we don't want, and it's unfair to our students. We want to celebrate them. We want to celebrate them for being here. It is not an easy task. Public speaking is very difficult, very hard. And this year we want to acknowledge as much of the students as possible and give them prizes. So even if they don't make it through preliminaries or quarterfinals, we still want to be able to prize them. And we want to appreciate them. Judge Kelly, Malik Kelly, was a past debater. He is here as one of our judges, and these are the things that you can do to give back to your community and your students. And we want the pictures. We love our debaters. We fall in love with them, and we look forward to them every single year. And Nadia Elliott and Coach Bennett, you have been an strong anchor in this competition from the beginning until now, and we appreciate you. All right, so Nadia, let's see your team, and remember, you're not to move from in front of the screen unless you're going to the podium, and the coaches are not to interface with you during the competition. Miss Elliott, over to you.
Good afternoon, I am Rihanna Thomas. Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Scott. Good afternoon, I'm Natalia Henry.
And my name is Yaounde Jack, and I'm the backup. Yeah. If you got all of our names, that is.
Did we just see Wolmers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Shari,
yes,
can
yes.
you spotlight Wolmers for me because I still
Okay.
have Charlemont on my screen.
Mm.
One moment.
Oh, should we repeat our names?
Yes, but I want the spotlight. I want the spotlight. I need a spotlight on Wolmers. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay, Wolmers, will you be standing while you're presenting? No? You're going to be presenting from where you're seated?
Yes, we will.
All right. Where's your mic? Can you say your name, please?
Good afternoon, I am Rihanna Thomas. Good afternoon, my name is Michaela Scott. Good afternoon, I'm Natalia Henderson.
And my name is Yaounde Jack, and I'm the reserve.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Very, very serious. This is a very, very serious parliament. No smile. Look at that. I got a smile out of them. Okay. So thanks again. I am going to give you a few minutes just to look at your papers. Judges, are you okay with the audio? We're about to begin in a few.
Yes, I'm fine with it.
All right. Okay.
Yes, sounding good.
Okay, so I believe that both coaches would have briefed you. You're not to move from the camera. You stay in front of the camera at all times. You're not to use your phone, laptops, or iPhone technology to research, neither during your rebuttal section. We will be taking time. We never usually deduct for going over, but if you go over extensively, yes, the judges will deduct times from you. What else? Am I missing anything? Gestures, movements, it's important, ladies. This is Parliament, right? Future prime ministers and opposition leaders. So you know you have to be believable in your position. The other thing is we have our judges with us. They're also online. And we will begin in a few, right? So look over your speeches and let's get ready. There is a head in the way. You're the reserve, right? Okay, all right. Not a problem. Give me a few minutes. Shari, are you seeing a request to record?
I already clicked the record button.
Pardon?
The record button, right? To record all the audio.
No,
And
man, I have done the record, but I noticed it said it's going to send a request.
yeah, I clicked it already.
You click the approval?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let us begin. Ready? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished judges, teachers, and enthusiastic students. Happy New Year. Welcome to this exciting and vibrant edition of the National Tourism Debate. We're here today to witness a thrilling intellectual face-off between Charlemont High and Wolmers girls. Let's have an online round of applause. You can put your emojis up, hearts, or thumbs up. Today's competition promises to be a showcase of knowledge, wit, and passion as our debaters dive deep into the dynamic world of tourism. We are honored to have with us a distinguished panel of judges whose expertise and keen eyes will ensure a fair and stimulating competition. We have with us Attorney at Law Malik Helia, Tafari Hilton, businessman, and Sandra Roden, economist. All right, thank you, judges, for making the time out for our students. The competition is set to run for approximately 45 minutes, during which each team will present well-researched information, followed by the rebuttals and an engaging discussions. So without further ado, let's meet our teams. Charlemont High, Kadia Lee McLean, Anthony Demetrius, and Sean White. Wolmers girls, Rihanna Thomas, Makada Scott, Natalie Henderson. This afternoon's motion: this house would promote collaborative marketing initiatives between small island developing states, SIDS, like those in the Caribbean, to promote the region as a unified multi-destination experience. Proposing the motion is Charlemont High, and opposing the motion is Wolmers girls. Let's have a round of applause. Come on, students, you can clap, you know. The match will take the format of a parliamentary style debate. The first speaker is allowed 7 minutes, second speaker 5 minutes, and third speaker 3 minutes, followed by a rebuttal, which will begin with the opposing team. The match will now begin with our proposing team, Charlemont High. Charlemont High, Shari, may we have a spotlight on Charlemont High, and we invite the first speaker of Charlemont High, and then we will move to the first speaker for Wolmers girls. We will alternate in that direction throughout the competition. Go ahead, Charlemont High.
Good day, Madam Speaker, esteemed judges, honorable members of the opposition, and their attentive audience. Today, we stand firmly in favor of the motion. This house would promote collaborative marketing initiatives between small island developing states like those in the Caribbean to promote the region as a unified multi-destination tourist experience. Let us begin by defining the key terms in this motion. Promote, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, means to encourage people to like, buy, use, do, or support something. Collaborative marketing, as defined by Binder.com, refers to when two or more businesses or brands work together to increase brand exposure. This involves sharing resources, combining efforts, and leveraging strengths to achieve mutual marketing goals. Small island developing states, as outlined by the United Nations, are a distinct group of 39 states and 18 associate members facing unique social, environmental, and economic vulnerabilities. In essence, the motion calls for actively supporting cooperative marketing efforts among these vibrant small island states, particularly those in the Caribbean, to present the region as a cohesive and multifaceted travel destination. We on the proposition side firmly believe that fostering collaboration among small island developing states amplifies their global visibility, strengthens economic resilience, and enhances cultural exchange, all while providing travelers with a richer experience. It is for these reasons we urge you to support this motion. As the Prime Minister, I will address why we should promote collaborative marketing initiatives. Our Deputy Prime Minister will explain how this collaboration can be implemented. And the third speaker will outline what the likely result of this support would be and what would be in that market segment. Jamaica, like many other small island developing states in the Caribbean, boasts a robust and growing tourism product. However, tourism is an ever-evolving industry, and staying competitive requires constant innovation. Jamaica's tourism minister, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, in a Caribbean Global News article entitled, "Jamaica makes the case for multi-destination marketing," dated February 4, 2020, says, "This is the ideal time for the Caribbean to embrace the concept of multi-destination marketing." He highlighted that the tourism industry is highly competitive and demands sustainable and innovative marketing strategies to ensure long-term success. Madam Speaker, the question should not be why, it should be why not. When we market the Caribbean as a unified destination, we create a compelling narrative that resonates with international travelers. For instance, promoting multi-destination travel packages where tourists can visit Jamaica, Barbados, and the Dominican Republic in one trip enhances the region's overall appeal. This approach presents the Caribbean as a diverse yet cohesive destination offering unparalleled experiences. It is not Jamaica versus Barbados, but Jamaica and Barbados, working in tandem to attract more tourists. The United Nations World Tourism Organization publication Resilience Through Diversity and Investments, the focus on United Nations tourism visit to Jamaica dated February 19, 2024, highlights resilience takes many forms. Every level of tourism must be ready to deal with shocks and emergencies and able to adapt to whatever challenges come our way. Rather than overdeveloping similar products where others hold a competitive advantage, we can partner to create a stronger offering. For example, Cuba and the Dominican Republic dominate medical tourism due to their affordable, high-quality services. Cuba ranks higher on the medical tourism index than Jamaica, which is still developing its industry. The Dominican Republic is ranked 19th to Jamaica's 40th place on the medical tourism index, according to medicaltourism.com. Instead of promoting competition, why not promote collaboration? Imagine this: a patient undergoes a medical procedure in Cuba, then comes to Jamaica for recovery and rehabilitation. This partnership would strengthen our tourism product and create a seamless multi-destination experience. Competition among small island developing states often leads to over-tourism in popular destinations like Jamaica, while smaller islands struggle for viability. Collaborative marketing helps distribute tourist traffic more evenly, alleviating pressure on overburdened ecosystems and promoting sustainable tourism by encouraging longer stays in the Caribbean. And fostering cultural exchange. In a Gleaner article entitled Over Tourism in the Caribbean, dated September 23, 2018, Frank Comita, the Executive Director of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, believes that a more collaborative approach is required to deal with the adverse effects of over-tourism. He says, and I quote, "There is no question about the positive impact of tourism on the Caribbean, but we need to do a better job of managing the development of the Caribbean's most important industry," end of quote. Collaboration allows us to share the financial burden of advertising and promotion, which can be prohibitively expensive for individual states. Joint campaigns can tap into larger markets, North America, Europe, and Asia. By pooling resources for high-impact ads, international expos, and digital marketing strategies. With combined funds, we can afford initiatives no single country could independently finance, ensuring better returns on investment. Building a unified brand such as the Caribbean Experience highlights the region's diverse offerings: beaches, music, food, culture, and adventure. This brand differentiation sets us apart from other tropical destinations. Consider the Caribbean Regional Tourism Marketing Strategy of Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Branded as the Windward Trail, this initiative promoted high-quality beach, sailing, diving, and cultural products. Why not facilitate similar collaborations between countries like Jamaica, Cuba, and the Cayman Islands? United, we can negotiate better deals with airlines, cruise lines, and travel agencies. Madam Speaker, I leave you with this. Collaborate, don't compete, innovate, don't imitate. The government rests. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now spotlight Wolmers girls for and invite their first speaker. This would be Rihanna Thomas.
May I begin?
Go ahead, Rihanna.
Members of this honorable house, worthy opponents, and panel of adjudicators, a pleasant afternoon. I am Rena Thomas. As the first speaker of the opposition team, I will introduce our team's argument as we firmly disagree with the motion that reads, this house would promote collaborative marketing initiatives between small island developing states like those in the Caribbean to promote the region as a unified multi-destination experience. Our second speaker will persist with this argument by expounding on how some countries simply have unique attractions, therefore allowing the country to be at greater points of interest for tourists, and that even if countries endorse the region's unification, it does not eradicate the imbalance with destinations tourists choose from the area. Lastly, our third speaker will summarize our debate, drive our points home, and undoubtedly convince you that collaborative marketing initiatives among these third world countries in the Caribbean is not ideal. My humble opponent mentioned a few points in her argument, such as providing travelers with a richer experience and the need for constant innovation in the industry. That will be debunked later in the contention of my speech and my team's argument. Before proceeding, it is critical that the key terms of the moot are defined. Let's start with the definition of a multi-destination tourism package. On the authority of the Association of Caribbean States.org, a multi-destination tourism package is merely a single trip that will afford travelers the opportunity to experience different destinations or localities, with each experience fulfilling a different desire to the visitor. Collaborative means to work jointly with others. Marketing initiatives are new ideas, campaigns, or solutions to solve either a new or existing problem. And small island developing states in the Caribbean are the islands that are faced with unique social, economic, and environmental vulnerabilities. Essentially, any incentive in relation to this move is implying that a multi-destination arrangement would allow visitors to book one trip to the Caribbean and stop over at different destinations, giving the region a strong value proposition to visitors who will get more out of their vacation, according to Minister Edmund Bartlett, as he spoke at the 42nd Caribbean Travel Marketplace for the press conference held on Tuesday, May 21, 2024. Without regard, allow me to present justifications as to why there are defects in this line of reasoning. Firstly, there is limited freedom and flexibility in the duration spent at each location. For instance, the itinerary provided by the travel agency may indicate the duration of stay for the various destinations, and as opposed to the visitor's preference, they may desire a longer stay for some destinations. As a result of these constraints, visitors are incapable of genuinely absorbing these fascinating experiences, adventurous sightseeing, and even adding extra activities as they would hope. Tourists will most definitely be left feeling unsatisfied, which is outside the will of the Jamaica Tourist Board and the country's aim.
Information.
Hence, I reiterate, we, the opposition, rise to counter the moat that posits encouraging collaborative marketing initiatives among small island developing states in the Caribbean to promote the region as an integrated multi-destination experience. Furthermore, these small island developing states in the Caribbean are already opted for by millions of tourists annually. If we advocate for more tourists to visit the region, countries will therefore have to put in place greater provisions to accommodate the rapid arrival of tourists. And as aforementioned, small island developing states are until now challenged with development issues such as a slow and volatile economic growth. Their characteristics are namely remoteness, small population, dependence on ocean resources, reliance on imports, limited access to finance, and vulnerability to climate change impacts. If we're not cautious, due to the tourism industry's success in countries like Jamaica, other industries may be neglected, and this can result in economic imbalance. Countries' economies may become even more vulnerable to both internal and external shocks, putting the entire country at risk. As a region, we are at different stages of development, signifying that every country does not have the same goal, products, and infrastructure with reference to tourism. Equally as important, there is already competition in the market, and so working as a unit will not be prosperous. Allow me to play devil's advocate for a brief moment to admit that yes, there are potential benefits from a regional perspective, but how willing and committed are the tourist boards and governments of the various countries to work together and merge their marketing initiatives? For the successful implementation of multi-destination arrangements, certain prerequisites need to be met. These include governments working closely to examine issues of tourism costs, air connectivity, harmonization of visa policies, airspace usage, and pre-clearance arrangements. Additionally, countries with a high tourist rate do not need this help. You are fighting a situation that does not need fixing. So let's be frank. Is the stress that islands would have to go through to create vacancy for a multi-destination experience really worth the hassle? Would you, my opponents, in your right minds do this? The opposition pauses at this moment. Thank you.
Excellent job. Thank you. Strong start to both speakers. Are you able to hear the point of information? Charlemont, were you saying point of information at some point?
Yes, miss.
All right. Wolmers, nothing is wrong. You don't have to. Remember the first 2 minutes, I believe it's the first minute is protected. However, I don't believe they had broken any rules there. But Wolmers, were you able to hear? Great, no problem. I just want to make sure because, you know, you are leaders. So if you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. All right, let's get over to Charlemont High for their second speaker.
Audio check, can you hear?
Yes, we can.
Go ahead, please.
Good day, Madam Speaker, esteemed judges, members of the opposition, and our attentive audience. Today, as the Deputy Prime Minister, I will address how we can promote collaborative marketing initiatives among small island developing states within the Caribbean. Specifically, I want to outline how the government can support, encourage, and facilitate these initiatives to ensure their success. Let us explore the strategies we have identified, which range from enacting laws and treaties to leveraging technology and supporting local businesses. Firstly, the government must establish a strong foundation through supportive laws and regulations. Our existing Tourism Enhancement Act already provides a framework to promote, fund tourism initiatives, as outlined in Section 3, which focuses on implementing programs that impact growth and development. By expanding the scope, we can enhance Jamaica's tourism offerings and contribute to the region's collective appeal. We propose passing additional laws offering tax incentives for businesses engaged in joint ventures with other islands, encouraging private sector collaboration, lower marketing costs, and streamlined licensing processes for multi-destinational activities. such as inter-island cruises and cultural exchanges, will enable broader participation. Secondly, treaties and formal agreements are pivotal for fostering collaboration. The revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, signed by Jamaica and other Caribbean SIDS, establishes this foundation. Article 55 highlights other suitable tourism development and emphasizes an enhanced regional image, diversified high-quality products, and an expanded market base. Currently, Jamaica is piloting a multi-destination strategy to promote the Caribbean as one destination, as outlined on the Ministry of Tourism's website, June 7, 2023. Agreements with Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Mexico, and Panama are already underway, with ongoing agreements with the Cayman Islands. Let us not backtrack. Instead, let us push forward as we expand these partnerships to include other states like Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago. Treaties could also introduce intellectual property agreements to protect regional brands and cultural assets. By collectively trademarking campaigns such as the Caribbean Experience, member states can ensure that the benefits of these initiatives will remain within the region. Furthermore, formal agreements to share tourism data and marketing insights will allow for more effective and targeted strategies. Thirdly, sharing the financial burden is essential while Jamaica's Tourism Enhancement Fund supports national development. We could create a Regional Tourism Enhancement Fund, RTEF, that would counter this. This fund, financed by contributions from SIDS based on the tourism revenue of each supporting SIDS. This could counter major tourist markets such as North America, Europe, and also Asia. Public-private partnerships with airlines, cruise lines, and travel agencies would amplify efforts while reducing the costs. The RTEF would finance large-scale multi-destination marketing campaigns, grants for regional tourism boards or operatives to develop shared tour packages and improve. Go ahead.
So we noticed throughout your discourse, you keep mentioning the highlighted Caribbean islands such as Jamaica, Cuba, Dominica, Cayman Islands, all these Caribbean islands. But have you considered that these are the Caribbean islands that have tourism as a priority? What about islands like St. Vincent and the Grenadines? And it goes back to my first speaker's point that these islands truly do not or could not really want to highlight tourism as their country's main goal. Have we considered that when developing treaties and so on?
Yes, well, this would apply to any Caribbean countries that would actively want to be a part of this, that would be beneficial to them. They don't have to agree, but they can and would be beneficial to them. Continuing on. And the third point, training programs for tourism professionals to ensure consistent quality standards across the region. Pooling resources will enhance the Caribbean's global visibility and competitiveness. Jamaica's tourism minister, the Honorable Edmund Bartley, said in the Caribbean Global News article titled, "Jamaica Makes a Case for Multi-Destination Marketing," February 4, 2020. I quote, "While it is a go-alone approach that has long been accepted throughout the region, there is now ample evidence to suggest that countries would be better off pooling their resources together. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, the government has an array of tools to promote collaborative marketing among SIDS by enhancing supportive laws and performing strategic agreements, selecting financial resources, and leveraging technology. We can position the Caribbean as a must-visit unified region. Collaboration is not merely an option, it is essential for transforming our tourism industry. I urge you to support the proposition in this motion. Thank you."
Good day, Madam Chairperson, esteemed judges, worthy opponents, and audience. As the second speaker, I would like to build on the foundation laid by my first speaker and further substantiate why we firmly stand against the moot. The moot given entails the combined marketing of small islands developing states, such as the Caribbean islands, in order to promote a unified travel experience for tourists. When carefully examined, this proposition comes with as many cons as its pros, presenting many financial loopholes and ignoring the clear presence of favoritism among tourists. My first point begins with observing that disparities with the amount of tourism in one destination rather than the other is not a point that can be completely ruled out. Some islands possess a limited amount of infrastructure to attract tourists to their area, while some offer vast amounts of sightseeing and recreational activities, putting their region at an advantage. With these problems arises another. States, based on prior research, are dependent on tourism revenue in order to maintain and develop their country. This revenue may be lost to other islands deemed more attractive. A benefiting example of this can be seen in popular islands such as Jamaica. Its popularity, recognized from an article among the Jamaican Gleaner, published October 23, 2024, claims Jamaica's place in the top 10 islands in the 2024 Nash Travelers Reader's Choice Awards. According to the Ministry of Tourism website, an article released Wednesday, April 26, 2023, Mr. Honorable Edmund Bartlett released this information. Jamaica welcomed 3.3 million visitors and earned an estimate USD 3.7 billion in 2022, and projections for 2024 are for USD 4.1 billion in earnings. He also stated in Parliament that if there was ever an industry that has the potential to transform our nation and the livelihoods of Jamaican people for the better, it is tourism. These rates outshine countries with stopover visitors in the 5,000s, such as Montserrat, within the period of 2024, which pales in popularity. The little revenue Montserrat has, combined marketing would only overshadow its value in order to promote islands such as Jamaica, which earn more within its tourism aspects. Moreover, join me on a walk down memory lane as we recall that not all Caribbean countries are part of CARICOM. Not accepting at the moment. As we recall that not all Caribbean countries are a part of CARICOM, and this is something that would have to be dealt with before pushing for the region to be a unified multi-destination experience. Furthermore, the loss of cultural identity leaves no way to differentiate between collaborating countries, as it may erase any cultural differences along with years of ancestral history. This erased history takes on a new compact marketing style with cultural customs and products being commercialized. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, commercialization is best defined as the organization of something in a way intended to make profit. With these historical practices commercialized, historical value of these practices are lost. The Caribbean is a rich fusion of cultures, histories, and traditions, and lumping all these islands under a single brand, we risk reducing these islands to just palm trees and beaches, ignoring their unique identities. How do we expect tourists to appreciate these differences? Lastly, with the advertising of Caribbean islands comes an increased influx of tourists. Increased tourism can have a negative effect on the environment. According to the University of Queensland, Australia, an article released December 11, 2024, details the results of a study done by the university. It was revealed that greenhouse gas emissions from tourism has been growing more than 2 times faster than those from the rest of the global economy. A direct quote from the article speaks to percentage of emissions. Associate Professor Yayan Sun from UQ's Business School said rapid expansion in travel demand accounted for 9% of tourism of the world's emissions. She goes on to reveal anticipated annual increases in emission of 3 to 4%, meaning they'll double every 20 years. This percentage did not comply with the 10% reduction in the Paris Agreement. With these statistics, if tourism were to increase in the areas, the gas emissions would keep doubling itself, destroying the environment. Ladies and gentlemen, while combining seats for unified tourism marketing has potential benefits, the Caribbean is not a one-size-fits-all. Marketing these islands as a one-travel destination strips them of their unique identities, exacerbates economic inequality, and presents tourism logistic challenges. Instead of forcing the Caribbean into a single mold, we should celebrate and promote their diversities. Our team opposes combined marketing and believes individual countries should be responsible for their marketability, which in itself comes with many benefits, including preservation of unique identities, allowing individuality in its own history, culture, and beliefs. A next benefit outlooked is profit from targeted marketing. By marketing each island individually, it's easier to target tourists who look for different experiences within their destination. This ensures all islands are in the limelight and benefit from tourism. Let me leave with a profound quote from Stephen Covey. Strength lies in differences, not in similarities. Thank you very much.
And just a reminder to those logged on of what our motion is today. This house would promote collaborative marketing initiatives between small island developing states like those in the Caribbean to promote the region as a unified multi-destination experience. And so we will move to Charlemont. High final speaker or third speaker from Charlemont High, and this would be Sean White.
Good day, Madam Speaker. Protocol already established. Allow me to summarize the arguments presented by my colleagues. Our first speaker emphasized why promoting collaborative marketing among SIDS is vital, highlighting innovation, sustainability, and regional resilience. The second speaker explained how we can achieve this through resource pooling, unified branding, and strategic partnerships showcasing the Caribbean's collective strengths. Now, I will discuss the potential impacts of these initiatives on Jamaica and other Caribbean states and identify the primary target market segments. Promoting the Caribbean as a unified experience enhances regional tourism development. Collaborative efforts mitigate over-tourism in popular destinations like Jamaica, reducing strain on infrastructure while directing visitors to lesser-known gems, ensuring all islands benefit economically. According to Jamaica's tourism minister, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, multi-destination marketing strengthens rather than diminishes. I will repeat that. Multi-destination marketing strengthens rather than diminishes individual tourism sectors. By pooling resources and promoting the Caribbean collectively, we attract more visitors, increase competitiveness, and preserve each country's unique identity. This initiative will complement, not replace current tourism models, appealing to untapped segments without isolating or crowding out traditional offerings. An article titled Multi-Stop Tourism Could Spur Growth for Caribbean Destinations highlights that 20%, Madam Speaker, 20% of global travelers typically take multi-stop trips per Global Data's Q3 2021 survey. Madam Speaker, our target markets include, number one, international travelers from North America, Europe, and Asia seeking diverse and immersive experiences. Number two, Madam Speaker, diaspora communities who can be encouraged to explore neighboring islands during their visits. And finally, Madam Speaker, number three, eco-conscious and cultural tourists drawn to the region's natural beauty and rich heritage. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, collaboration is not, let me repeat that, collaboration is not competition, but the pathway to shared prosperity. As tourism evolves, So must sit in the Caribbean, or they risk becoming extinct. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And just a reminder, our speakers, Charlemont High, Kaden Lee McLean, Anthony Demetrius, and Sean White. And they're in the proposition stance. We have opposition leaders, Wolmers Girls, Rihanna Thomas, Makata Scott, Natalie Henderson. Natalie, you're on next as a final speaker for Wolmers Girls.
Good afternoon, esteemed judges and Madam Speaker. I greet you cordially. I will be highlighting the problems and everything that my previous speakers mentioned. Firstly, my first speaker highlighted the limited freedom and flexibility due to the duration because of the traveling to multiple islands on one trip. Tourism focuses on the feeling or the satisfaction of our tourists, which is a priority of course. With that underlined, it is not a good idea for us to work cohesively because if tourists aren't getting the experience that they desire, it doesn't make any sense. They will lose interest in participating in coming to our islands. Another point that my first speaker mentioned is the economic imbalance. The economic imbalance is where the islands have different standpoints in their statuses within the Caribbean. I reject. Each Caribbean island has their own point of view. Each Caribbean island has their own goal. We also have our own aims towards and our own methods towards developing our countries. So economic imbalance also includes that we have different infrastructures as well. So for small islands that doesn't have much infrastructure, much attraction, I reject. That doesn't have much attraction to them to accommodate tourists. They would rather to go to the developing countries over the small islands. Therefore, the developing countries would be getting more revenue from this cohesion. A point that my second speaker mentioned is that lumping all islands under one brand dims their uniqueness. Yes, we are Caribbean, we are the Caribbean, but we also have our different diversities in terms of culture, ethnicity, and so on. We don't want it to be a situation where we are seen as a region for palm trees, as my second speaker said, and beaches. We don't want to be known merely for those two things. We want to be known individually. Like Jamaica has its recreational attractiveness to it. And other islands such as Cayman Islands has its luxurious attractiveness to it. Also, each individual, each visitor has their own interests. Some people desire an ecotourism experience. Some people desire a recreational experience. Some people desire a relaxation or a luxurious experience. So for us to come together and just put it under one board, one brand, it doesn't make any sense. And once again, it would lead back to the point that the tourists would be resulting in a feeling of dissatisfaction. Another point is the unity, which is a key concept in this situation. Unity is the coming together as a whole. When coming together, we need to consider the islands that aren't a part of the bodies that were mentioned, such as CSNE, not CSNE, such as CARICOM, and so on. So, for example, islands such as Cuba and Dominican Republic, those are islands that are geographically and historically defined as Caribbean islands. However, they are not a part of those unified bodies. So how can we describe ourselves, or how can we become a unified body or make a unified system? It is not possible to do so with the geographical issues and the fact that we are not accommodating those islands into our body. Lastly, I must end. Is it serious that the government would go to the extent to change their legislation to accommodate the collective marketing? No, it is not. It does not make any sense. Why should we trouble what is not giving problem? Why should we fix what is not broken, as mentioned by my first speaker? Who in their right mind would do such a thing when they are doing well in tourism? We should just leave it alone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's have a round of applause for both schools, please. All right, you'll be given 3 minutes to prepare for your rebuttals, and we will definitely come back to you to ensure you are ready with your rebuttals. Judges, I would use this time to just tally the scores that you have so far. And so you would just have the rebuttals to add at that point. Students, please remember the rebuttals is full marks. So you want to work on that a bit, all right? Thank you. And we'll see you in a few minutes. Judges, the times are posted in the group chat. You can look at that for both teams. Okay, 2 more minutes have been allocated. Okay, coaches, are we ready?
Yes, miss.
Yes, we are.
Okay, welcome back. Coaches, we're ready. Students?
Yes, miss, we are ready.
We are ready as well.
All right, it looks that way. It would appear so. Okay, so welcome back. We are now in our rebuttal section and we're going to start with the opposing team, which is Wolmers Girls. Wolmers Girls, you are open to begin your rebuttal. Wolmers Girls, you can go ahead.
Panel for adjudicators, members of this honorable house, and worthy opponents, good afternoon once more. I realize that my opponent's arguments is solely centered around the collaboration of these islands. However, when we think of the history of this region, we had a federation, then we had Carifta, and now we're at CARICOM. We attempted regionalism before and we have failed miserably. The more developed countries will always obtain a greater revenue earned from tourism. Shanique Mary, a prime example, went to Trinidad, showed them her CARICOM passport, and she received antagonistic reactions. So yes, we have CARICOM, but how well does it mitigate this problem? We don't have a central government or common currency. So how will this vision that you're endorsing fit into our current framework? Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. Thank you.
All right, over to Charlemont. Charlemont, you can go ahead with your rebuttals.
Madam Speaker, esteemed judges, honorable members of the opposition and their attentive audience, good afternoon. My fellow opponents, you're clearly misguided. Your first speaker spoke to the neglecting of other industries, but this is not so. We are most certainly not neglecting other industries. We are promoting a multi-tourist destination experience as another industry with the already existing ones. As highlighted in the third speaker's speech, 20% of tourists are recorded for travel to multi-tourist destinations yearly. How much of this how much of this revenue is Jamaica and many of the other Caribbean countries really getting? Don't we as a Caribbean country and Jamaica at large want to promote collaborative marketing initiative as a way to increase the revenue that we have? They also spoke to the issue of damage to the environment and infrastructure strain on the environment. We are promoting a multi-source destination, not in a, for want of a better term, a free-for-all way, where the tourists are just here and there, but the tourists are going to be dispersed to other islands. We could put the necessary laws in place to promote sustainable tourism. It would allow us to manage tourism in such a way, in such a sustainable way, and even more so way that it's just manageable and Jamaica and the other tourism countries can develop as a region. Doing this would help to strengthen the infrastructure. All right, you spoke about costs. We will not be the only ones paying for these initiatives, but we will be using our proposed regional tourism enhancements fund, and the revenue that other Caribbean countries generate could contribute to this. You spoke about collaborative marketing initiatives causing over-tourism, but based on what was highlighted in the third speaker's speech, it actually states that it does not contribute to over-tourism. Pardon me, first speaker's speech, it does not contribute to over-tourism, but actually helps to manage and to mitigate over-tourism. It states, and I will read, in a Gleaner article entitled Over-Tourism in the Caribbean, dated September 23, 2018, Franco Mita, the Executive Director of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, believes that a more collaborative approach is required to deal with the adverse effects of over-tourism. He says, and I quote, "There's no question about tourism's positive impact on the Caribbean, but we need to do a better job of managing the development of the Caribbean's most important industry." What this proves is that collaborative marketing initiatives helps to mitigate over-tourism, not contribute to it. And also the points of information were raised and we saw that they were dodged or they were just not acknowledged. So I figured it's best that we ask them now. The first one being, doesn't collaboration promote or celebrate our diversity rather than erase it? Right, another point. You're saying that Jamaica will not be offering anything else but palm tree, and beaches. As stated in the third speaker's speech, this initiative will complement, not replace, current tourism models appealing to untapped segments without isolating or crowding out traditional offerings. Therefore, we'll not just be offering palm trees and beaches, but we'll be offering other things. This will not be a replacement to the other industries that are there, but it will just be working as another industry to increase tourism offerings. And then you spoke about tourists that may have, for example, a varying experience, or tourists that have different preferences. Yes, that's why we have a target market. That's why we have a target market. We're not catering to every single tourist there is, because we know that tourists, they have different preferences. But as I liked in third speaker's speech, it said that our target markets include international travelers from North America, Europe, and Asia seeking diverse immersive experience. So it's similar to how there's a target market for persons that like things like probably rock climbing or backpacking. There's a target market for our collaborative marketing initiative, and we would be able to cater to those. It also states that our target market includes diaspora communities who can be encouraged to explore neighboring islands during their visits, eco-conscious and cultural tourists drawn to the region's natural beauty and rich heritage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now take a break. Our judges will deliberate and come back with the winning team. Okay, we are back. Welcome back. Shari, everybody is here.
Yes, we are.
All right, so we want to thank Coach Nadia Elliott from Wolmers Girls. Nadia, are you there? Coach Elliott, I have a bone to pick with you with my ladies here in the photos. I don't see it, and they're so serious. And we want to thank Coach Dale Bennett. Coach Bennett. Now, just a reminder, students, remember that we have a wild card section. Most of the times, or a few times, we have had schools that cannot participate, and we ask the school to return, right? So it's an opportunity for you to re-enter the competition. And it happens almost every year. Almost every year, we have to have a wild card pull where we go to a school that would have not qualified and we pull them back in the competition for a school that is unable to participate. We want to thank our judges, Tafara Hilton, businessman, Malik Kelly, attorney at law, and Sandra Roden, who is an economist. Some of you would have possibly heard Sandra on Nationwide News, and he has had quite a few articles in the Jamaica Observer. I'm not sure if it's a Gleaner as well, but I'm sure Sandra will let us know. We will now invite each judge to give us their points as to what they thought of the competition, what we could improve on with our speakers, and then we will announce the winning team.
All right, just for clarity, Michelle, we're gonna have Tafari go ahead first, and then I'll just come in and wrap with the scores.
I didn't hear that.
Right, I'm saying that Tafari would go ahead with his comments, and then I'll come in and wrap with the scores.
Okay, not a problem. Go ahead, please.
All right, thank you. All right, so that was a very interesting debate as usual. On such a
Tafari,
popular, yes. Are you hearing
I
me?
wanted to ensure that that we got you. All right, so who is going to go first with the feedback?
Tafari will speak.
And then we'll go over to Malik. Okay, no problem. Tafari, go ahead.
All right, sure, thank you. All right, so as usual, that was a very informative and interesting debate, especially on such popular
Shari, let's spotlight
topic,
Mr. Hilton. Sorry
especially on
about
such
that.
a popular topic that we keep hearing about, Caribbean countries coming together, working together to market themselves. So we do appreciate the points given by both of the teams. But some things that we have to note on both sides, both teams gave decent to good points. However, both sides lacked concrete explanation of the points, right? So you introduce this strong point, but where is the explanation or like the example to say how this can stand on its own, right? To paint a strong picture of what you're proposing or opposing. So that played a big role. Additionally, for Wolmers, we noted that you guys did not accept any of the POIs. Why? You guys had lots of opportunities to accept the POIs, and always remember, guys, the POIs are the chances. Don't you view them as an attack. View them as an opportunity to hammer home your point. One second, there was some noise. Right, so so we had to take that into consideration as well. For Charlemont, good points. Very good rebuttal as well. So that was also good. Your second speaker, how you answered that rebuttal was a bit shaky, but well done, nevertheless. And that's the end of the deliberation for me.
All right, let's get over to Mr. Kelly.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Is everybody able to hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Malik.
Perfect. First and foremost, I want to congratulate both teams on the effort they've taken to be a part of the competition first and foremost, and also to give their best effort in the matches today. For me, as a former debater, and I think one of the first teams to participate in this competition, it's so heartening to see the development and growth. Just to add to what Tafari has to say, for both teams, there was clear evidence of research. What you have to be very careful of, though, is that you fact check certain things as part of what you're proposing or opposing in the debate. Secondly, I don't know, but for some fact, even in your own spaces, there are some tinge of nerves from some persons. And I'm like, this is your best opportunity to put your best foot forward. So there's no need to be nervous. We're not here to attack you. It's a learning experience for the two of us. So there's no need to be nervous. Breathe, pace yourself, and you should be fine. With regards to points of information, as Tafari mentioned as well, take them. You can only be better from taking them. We're not saying you have to take all of them, but go through some of them, because a good part of debating as well is learning to think on your feet. And finally, your rebuttal is what you use as your last hurrah or your fight to the finish. It means, therefore, milk the time that you have. And I have to commend the student from Charlemont, because she fought to the very end in trying to pivot with her points. A point where both teams fell down that you should work on as well, though, is when you are challenging the point of the opposite side of the bench, you have to also come with what then is your suggestion. Very, very important that you come with it. So don't just leave it as an unanswered question. This is how, though, you would answer the same question you're asking the opposing side. But commendable effort to both teams. and I look forward to seeing you even go further in this art of debate.
Excellent point. Thank you so much. Sanjay Roden, you're last. Sir Roden?
I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Are you hearing me clearly? All right, I hope you are all hearing me clearly. We had a interesting match, I would say. I would say so myself. We indeed had an interesting match. We had arguments coming from both sides, looking at how we promote a collaborative approach of marketing, showing the Caribbean as a unified experience. Charlemont came to us for a speaker doing her signposting would have said that, listen, it creates a stronger offering. And she had the arguments or the examples of Cuba and Dominican Republic and medical tourism, stating as well that other countries are behind. And she went into the medical tourism index, which was very good as we looked towards hearing those points. Another argument was the better return on investment, the unified brand, the Windward and Leeward Islands and the trade that they have, and basically presented an argument of a better deal for the stakeholders of tourism. Who are the stakeholders of tourism? The tourists, major stakeholders, and it depends on what the tourists would like to see, and that would present a space where we could see where the arguments would go. Now we go over to the first speaker from Wolmers Girls, who basically highlighted that, listen, this approach is not a workable approach based on the diversity. And the diversity meaning the tourism product. That's what I would have gleaned from it. I don't know if it was as clearly stated, but that's what I gleaned from the arguments. Diversity of the tourism product and the differences that exist, and that in many cases, the differences would not align effectively. Now, that went into the conversation of the how would this work on the side of Charlemont, which went into Article 55 of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, spoke to the Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, spoke to this regional tourism enhancement fund and how the financial resources can be pooled together. Then the clash in that moment came in Speaker 2 from Wolmers Girls, who further spoke to the unique attractions and spoke to the impact of pooled finances on individual nations. And that's something that came out, and they spoke to the livelihoods in particular, of Jamaicans. And a statement I sure remember is the impracticality of the commingling of the financial resources of all these islands and how it would affect in a negative way particular aspects of the tourist industries in various countries. And key in that argument was one size fits all approach does not work, which is a key argument that came from Wolmers Girls. And she further went into this argument of climate change and gas emissions. Then we went over to third speaker from the Charlemont team, who spoke about results and market segments and speaking about how the tourism minister, world-renowned minister Edmund Bartlett, which would have spoken to this idea of the multi-regional marketing approach and how it strengthens the overall individual tourism sectors. So that argument, very strong argument, because it then, of course, kind of destroys the argument of singularity if we're having examples from regional tourism leaders saying, hey, this is something that would benefit individual countries, while the approach on the other end, the opposition, is saying that it would affect in a negative way. So even though I don't think the teams outrightly saw that clash, but the argument from the third speaker on Charlemont's team directly went against the argument from the second speaker. Now, the third speaker from Wolmers Girls had I would say, a more rebuttal type approach to the argumentation, because in essence, it was more of a summary, speaking to, tourists being dissatisfied and then asking questions of unity and all of that shebang. But that does not bode as a strong argument for the judges. Why? Because as a third speaker, what you get is the opportunity to further expand your argument, to come up with some new and novel, aspect of your argument. So when I heard Charlemont come and say the why, the how, and the results and market segments, that's very important because they outlined what they were going to say. Did I like how they laid it out? No, I didn't, because it wasn't clear as it relates to what the specific arguments were until they started speaking. And it also showed that the arguments weren't as built out. And on both sides, I think that's something that should be worked on. As it relates to definitions as well, I can admonish Wolmers girls, if your opponent comes with a strong enough definition that you don't have to waste your time and define, you don't have to waste your time and define, because what happens is that you can get more time to speak about the real issues. You don't have to come and define again. But what you should do is signpost and ensure we know what your second and third speakers are going to speak about, which Charlemont's first speaker did. What is also important is that if you're an opposition and you are defining, you only define if it's the case that you're saying, listen, my definition juxtaposes, or my definition is anti the definition that they presented, right? What they consider as unity, I found a definition around one place in one part in our encyclopedia that defines unity in a different way. And that would give, that argument in the minds of the judges. Should we accept their definition versus your definition? And that would be a whole different play on it. As for the rebuttals, Wolmers girls, it didn't really have a strong enough rebuttal. I think that there was more you could have done. And giving you context of a rebuttal for both teams, a rebuttal serves the purpose of outlining all the arguments that your team made. So from argument one, from a prime minister to a deputy prime minister to a government member, same opposition leader, deputy opposition leader, opposition member, you outline all those arguments and then you drive the point home as to why those arguments won the debate. That is the purpose of your rebuttal. So take that into consideration if you're doing a rebuttal again, because you need to ensure that at the end for your rebuttal, what you do is that you state what the clashes are. And the clashes in this debate, I would have summed it up. It would be a matter of saying, hey, there is better return on investment if we did multi-level or multi-destination marketing. If I was Wolmers girls, I would say, no, the Caribbean is not unified. Treaty of Shagara must never quite worked out. We can't get CARICOM together. They can't even agree on climate change. That would have been my argument. I would have said, in that climate change argument, I would have said, we have countries who are still drilling and doing all sorts of things, and we can't get unified around climate change. Why do you think we're going to get unified for a multi-destination marketing? The other argument I'd make is that, listen, Ed Bartlett said what he said, but they still aren't doing it, which means that obviously there is disenfranchisement or disengagement between some countries than others. Why did it work in the Leeward Islands and it can't work across the Caribbean? Which means that there's no political will to make it work. If you get in where I'm going with all the arguments that you could put on the table. So noting all of that, I think it was a good enough match, but I think, of course, there could be more that's brought to the table because this motion naturally favors the government. So as opposition, what you'd have to do is ensure that you dig deep and things that, others won't think about, you'll have to think about it because it's a simple motion, unity versus division. And what Wolmers girls had the burden to prove was that the Caribbean is so divided that this would not work. If you did that today, you'd have won. And on that note, I dare say that the winner for today's match is Charlemont High School. And that is after deliberation with the judges, and the judges were in one accord. And I think I would have explained in a sense why that's the case. And the score for Charlemont would have been 938. And then for Wolmers girls, the score would have been Let me ensure that it's the correct score that I have, 797, and that's a total of the judges' scores, including all speakers and all rebuttals. Now, this to tell you that the scores are actually closer than you think as it relates to how the scoring was done, but it's the totals that make it looks like it's a lot, but it's scored disaggregatedly. And that says our best speaker that we have is the first speaker from the Charlemont High School. I think her name is Kada Lee McLean, if I'm not mistaken. And I think our second best speaker, or great commendations to the second speaker from the Wolmers girls team, which would be Makeda Scott. Yes, you did well. I think the speakers, I can hear the talent in all the students. I congratulate all of you for taking the step to, allow yourself to be in the ring of intellectual rigor, because that's what it is. It's not easy to think on your feet. So practicing POI is very important as well, because you should be able to not only ask them, you should be able to answer them on your feet. And that is what debate does. So this is indeed a good step. And I commend you all. I commend you, Charlemont, for winning, and I commend you, Wolmers girls, for, of course, putting up a good fight. And I expect to see more of you guys in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause? Congratulations to you, Charlemont High. I think our judges did well, and you believe that your judges not listening. They are listening. Coach Bennett, thank you so much. Coach Elliott, thanks again. Tomorrow, we will have our second match, which is Manning's High versus Ocherius High. Congratulations to both schools. We look forward to seeing you again. I'm your host, Michelle Tulloch. We have Shari Dawson with us, our production assistant, and our judges that joined us. On another note, take care and goodbye.